Hello and welcome to the third installment of RacquetMouth. In this video we're going to be talking about what it is to be on WTA Fantasy. You can tune into my next video to see why I chose the people I chose in this video. Basically what the WTA Fantasy is basically just like any other fantasy sport. I'm assuming I don't actually care about any other sport but tennis. With the WTA Fantasy there are two challenges. The first challenge is the season challenge. What we're trying to do is predict who's going to be at the end of year finals, the WTA finals in Shenzhen. Once we lock in our choices, we cannot change our choice. So once those ones are locked in, if they start playing badly, bad luck. I've done that on one of my accounts where they're all locked in already. The good thing with that is that should all 8 of them make it, every point that they have earned since I selected them will go towards my end ranking with the WTA Fantasy. The issue with that is, like I said, if they don't do so well, then I'm stuck with them. If you don't lock them in, you can change them around throughout the year based on how everyone's performing. Towards the end of the season, certain players, especially like number 1, 2, and 3, definitely start qualifying for those for this tournament quite early. And so if you haven't picked anybody and you haven't locked anybody in, you're going to miss out. If you choose your picks during a tournament, you will not receive any points that they gain through that tournament because you've picked them halfway through. So basically any tournament from there on, you'll start receiving those points and that will go towards your own WTA Fantasy ranking. So you won't receive any points for the players that aren't locked in. So the sooner you lock them in, the more points you'll get if they do qualify. So if you end up with 9, 10, 11 and 12, those points don't count. It's only those ones that fall between rankings number 1 and 8, and if your player does not plan on playing but does qualify, you still get the points. However, if you have a player who is then filling in for any player that withdrawn from the tournament, you do not get any. So basically we're going to go through the season picks, which is the first part of what happens here. So the season picks are the people who you think are going to make the Shenzhen WTA finals at the end of the year. Those 8 players are the players who have accumulated the most ranking points throughout the season. So at that point will be ranked 1 to 8 in the world. They go head to head. So basically you want to go through and try to pick the 8 people that you think are going to get there. The second part, there are 23 tournaments in this part, and it is the tournament challenge. And so you get tournament challenge points for this one. So there are 2 separate ones. Select 4 people that are going to do, that you think are going to do well throughout the tournament. As I've sort of shown with my previous videos, I've selected 4, and those people are the ones that I've chosen on my WTA Fantasy. So you get 4 picks. The first 4 are your starting lineup. We can view the tournament and we can see the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, Stuttgart in Germany. So that's always a fun one. It is indoor, it is clay. At this point we can go ahead and pick the 4 people that we want to put forward. So I'm going to go ahead and put those 4 in. So obviously you'll get used to it, but Petra Kvitova is going in. Petra is just a given for me. Simona Halep is going in. I'm choosing Angelique Kerber and Karolina Pliskova. As my alternative, I am going with Garbiñe Muguruza and Kiki Bertens. Okay, it's basically saying up until 15 minutes before play at this tournament, you have to change your picks around before they are automatically... Each tournament happens at its own time, so it has about a 2-week time frame for each one, and that's about the time that you get to do it. The draw itself for each tournament, though, comes out about 3 days before it starts. Tiebreaker. So just guess the amount of aces that you think are going to happen throughout the tournament, and I quite frankly haven't looked up any stats on how often that happens at most tournaments, especially this one, so I'm just going to put a random one in for this one. I haven't checked that one. I probably should have. What we're trying to do So obviously there is a ranking system for the participants of WTA Fantasy. Generally every Monday after a tournament, the ranking systems for both the WTA and the WTA Fantasy will be updated, and your points and the other players' points will all be added and all calculated and put together for you. For your fingers crossed that you enjoy it. Fingers crossed that you like following me in my predictions, seeing who I'm going to be putting forward. And I hope that you jump in on it too and get interactive with me.